heroes, villains, and innocent bystanders. Welcome to another episode of an Angel and Unicorn comic book reviews. I'm Alan the Unicorn, and with me today is Just James.
Just James.
We will be reviewing the books for the week, spoiling the crap out of them. So if you haven't read your books for the week, you may want to take a minute and rewind your day, read your books, come back and see us here in a little bit. Or by the time we actually post this video, you probably have read them, I would assume, I would hope. You know, it's usually Monday. So if you haven't read your books from last week, then you may have too busy of a life. I'm just saying. Somebody that has a busy life, I understand. But anyways, we will be spoiling them, so if you don't want them spoiled, take a break. If you would like to hear us Babylon and spoil and ruin them for you, we will gladly do that for you. Also, if you get a chance, like, share, and subscribe. We would love to have more and more people. We say it every week, and we totally mean it. Please push us onto other people. We would love, and we would love like responses. We would love comments. We would love to see what things that we could do to improve the show, or things that we could read. I'm always open for suggestions. And then So, without further ado, James, you want to do it?
Okay.
All right.
So my first book I'm going to review this week is called Bad Luck Chuck. It's by Leela Gwynn, Matthew Dow Smith, Kelly Fitzpatrick, and Frank, lots of consonants, Chvetkovich.
Foreign, possibly. Good bet. Good chance.
I really, really wanted to like this book. So the basic premise is there's this gal, Charlene, and she goes by Chuck, and she has like the worst luck on the planet. And it is...
Like, it's almost like a paranormal luck.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like...
And it is...
Or unluckiness.
And it's not just... And it's luck if all of the superstitions around luck actually worked. So she can head it off with good luck charms.
Yeah.
She can...
Like, her whole house is nothing but, like, good luck charms.
She can make it worse with bad luck charms and stuff. So... But basically, her luck is so bad that she's decided that she's going to use that to her advantage and be, disasters follow her around, and there are people that wish there was disasters, so she hires out her services.
Because I think I reviewed the first volume. I think I reviewed the first book when she uses it at one point to... This guy wants to get rid of his laundromat, so she ends up, she visits his laundromat, and as she visits his laundromat, it just, goes up in flames.
So, as a result of her machinations, her name keeps coming up with all of these disasters and accidents. So, one of the people that's after her is an insurance investigator, who's like, it can't be a coincidence that Chuck is around every time one of these bad things happen. So she's become his white whale.
And he's wanting to prove that she's actually
setting the fires.
Setting fires, or
because he doesn't believe in luck. And then in the first book, she gets an assignment from a rich lady to grab her child had been taken into a cult, and they had extracted her, but the mom was afraid that she would go back to this cult. So she's like, if there's not a cult around, then she can't go back to it. So she hires Chuck to go take care of this. You find out later that the mom wasn't entirely honest, and she's some kind of underworld character, and that the daughter is set to inherit a ton of money, and that the mom is the next in line if something happens to the daughter, and was going to arrange for something to happen to the daughter and pin it on Chuck. And then the cult leader that Chuck went to stop this cult from existing, he's also after her. So she's got 3 groups after her. This final book is kind of the culmination. She apparently grew up in a Buddhist monastery, and the cult leader and the insurance guy and the underworld mom are all chasing her, and they chase her to the monastery, and there's a fight, and Chuck uses her powers to take some people out, and the cult leader fights back with some luck of his own, and the criminal mom ends up burning down the monastery, and then somehow the cult leader has brought half of the police force over to his side, and then it ends kind of Chuck and the daughter, who's supposed to come into money, but it's in a trust, so she can't get to it yet, are driving off, and then they kind of go into an A-Team theme that they're going to be roving soldiers of fortune, and they're in a van, and they do the whole A-Team message. But so my father tells a story about writing a paper in college, and he was bad at spelling and grammar, and the teacher told him, "How can you clothe such beautiful ideas in such rags?" And that's how I feel about this book. I love the concept. I love I would love to see this done right. I didn't feel was done right. It was very jerky. They had all kinds of chances to smooth things out, and they just didn't take them, and you have to infer about half of the book. I really wanted to enjoy it, and I just really didn't.
And the artwork, I feel like, is even itself was like it gives you one of those things where it's like you hate where half the time you can't even tell who's who.
Yeah.
Sometimes like if they weren't for the different hairstyles and the different things, then you wouldn't be able to know who is anything.
Yeah.
It's very sketchy.
And I mean, if that's an art choice, I understand it. I've read other comics where that is the art choice. This just feels like this was the best they could afford. This is the poor guy tried his best, or tried her best, and it just.
And it's not bad. It's just like like there's a lot of the big panels
but it
are
just
really
could
sketchy.
have been so much better.
Yeah.
With just a little more attention to detail, just a little more thought, a little more polish.
Yep, I don't disagree.
And there was a lot of, a trope I've seen on TV a lot. The charismatic cult leader, sways. He just talks to someone for 5 minutes and they're willing to die for him, and I'm like, no, that's not a real thing.
It's not a real thing.
So, I'm afraid I didn't care for this one. I'd probably only give it 1.5 horns. So,
all right, that's fair. So I'm going to do The Leaders of the Free World, and it is by The Free World. So I guess that's the name of the print too. But it's like a superhero-esque book. Let's see who the writers. Oh, did you tell your writers? And you did,
Yes.
didn't you? Yeah, you had all the vowels.
Yeah, Frank.
Frank.
We just call him Frank.
He's Frank. So the writer is Corey Pruitt, and art is Eli Johnson. So in this book, it starts off with it kind of starts explaining like how things are happening. So it starts off with this kid. He's the Monkey King of his generation, and he wakes in high school, and the teacher is because he's fallen asleep. And then it goes on to explain that there's different superheroes that came down, and they all became kind of took over certain areas of the world and started to seed their powers into people. And so those particular people became certain offshoots of this one powerful being. So then they go into where there was a big battle, all this stuff happens. So then it became illegal if you were not part of that that particular power set or that particular thread of powers. Then you were not allowed to operate in that area of the world. Like you could not go like if you had fire powers, you couldn't go to an ice powered place and be there. So the Monkey King is he's in this one place, and he has his friends in high school. He's kind of a young superhero. So his friend talks him into letting him ride the cloud and take him to a concert. So he finally takes them. He talks about how he's the generation. He's the Monkey King of his generation. And he flies his friend over to see not concert, but it's a wrestling match. So in the wrestling match is one of these guys that is like a nature spirit. And then the other guy is kind of this reptilian beast-like creature. And they're fighting each other in like a slugfest, like a World Wrestling Federation. And so they're fighting each other, and then it cuts to a octopus taking over this city where this tech guy is trying to stop this octopus, and he's talking to a girl that's in this I assume her bedroom, and she sends him help in the form of her corgi, who her corgi can turn into any weapon. So he's this robot corgi, and so this tech guy kind of helps. The corgi turns into a sword, and he uses the sword to cut off the octopus's tentacles, and that's how they save the day. So they go in and they cut back to the slugfest where the nature guy finally stops the reptilian creature, and he ends up running into the Monkey King kid. And they meet his mother, the nature spirit's mother, Gaia, and she's all of a sudden she has these convulsions, and she teleports the Monkey King and the nature guy to another part of the world. Well, then it cuts to space, where there's the space creature or space character is this girl, and she's drunk all the time because she's just in space, kind of chilling, but she's always fighting all these invasions. So she finally fights this invasion off, and realizes that she can't stop them. She ends up getting hurt and falls down to Earth. Well, it creates this tidal wave, so the nature spirit, nature guy, and the Monkey King are trying to stop this tidal wave, or stop this tsunami wave, and the nature guy taps into his power over water and parts the Red Sea like Moses, while the Monkey King character uses super speed, his super monkey speed, to kind of rescue all the people that are on the beach. And then it cuts to the tech guy pulling the space girl out of the ocean. So it kind of seems like an origin story. Everybody's kind of everybody's apart, and they're kind of slowly coming together for some kind of invasion or of some kind. Overall, it was a little convoluted.
Didn't it break the rules though? Because they can't go to each other's areas. How can they all get together?
Well, that's the one thing that the Monkey King was like, I can't be here. Why didn't you? And the Earth woman, the Gaia, she's like, you have to save people. You have to do it. It's just there's nobody else, so you have to save them. So he's like, I can't be here. So he's rescuing people, and he's like, I'm sorry, I can't be here. He just keeps rescuing people. So they kind of bring that up. And I think that's probably going to be a source of contention, or possibly why they get together is okay, nobody's allowed to be together, but we need a team for all these people. or we need to be able to like get everybody together. So, and I still feel like there's more characters, but because they introduce like at the end of the book they have like a little roll call where it's like Dr. Seance, Technique, and let's see, where's the other one? Oh, the other one, the Moonshine, was the girl that was up top, up on the moon, the cosmic character. So I feel like they are going to end up getting together. Overall, like, I have to say, like, it wasn't half bad. It was a little convoluted, a little tropey. They definitely have these archetype characters, but I mean, it was fun read. It was. I could still follow it. It wasn't really super confusing, but it did get a little jumbled with the artwork and the way that they wrote, the way they jumped from story to story was a little bit of a jarring motion. So, I mean, overall, like, I think it was okay. I enjoyed it, but this is kind of my bag. It's like superheroes, origins things, kind of fun powers. So I was really, like I like the drunk cosmic character. I think that's hysterical. She's like hungover the whole time fighting aliens. I think that's pretty funny. And then the corgi that turns into like weapons for the tech. I mean, it was just cute stuff. Nothing really heavy. Nothing super. I don't think it's like it reinvent the wheel. But I really did enjoy it. So I'm gonna definitely pick up the second book and see where it's gonna go from here. I'm hoping it does well. Like, I hope they can get a good pacing underneath it. But you never know. Sometimes you read these random, like, independent ones, and that's all there is. Or there'll only be number 1. You'll never see number 2 or number 3. And so I'm hoping that maybe they will go on, but we shall see. What time will tell. But I would give it a solid 3 out of 5 unicorn horns. I enjoyed it. The art was decent. Characters were kind of fun. So overall, it's my bag, though. I can definitely see where people would not like this, where people would trash this book. But for me, I actually enjoyed it. All right, James, go for it.
So
go, James.
My next book is The Weatherman. It's volume 2, number 1. Pull the right one up.
It looks like this.
I read it. Where did it go? There it is. Okay. So it's by Jody LeHope, Nathan Fox, and Maurino Denisio. So it's the year 2700 something. Mankind is all over the solar system. Mm-hmm. Something horrible has happened and killed. In the first series, they say that everyone on Earth is dead. In this series, they take that back and say, well, most everybody's dead. They don't ever really say what. Everybody's still really pissed off about it. It was like a terrorist attack, and they can't find the people responsible. And there's riots when the government announces we still haven't found the people responsible, and then everybody riots because they really want them found and beaten. So, and then you open up on this simple weatherman that's he's kind of a character, and you get the.
He's the schmoozer and the shaker of the like.
Well, and that Mars has constructed weather, so you don't really need a weatherman because they dial in what the weather's going to be ahead of time. But it just sort of inertia. They just still have weatherman
normalcy, yeah.
And so in the first series, he goes out on a date with a gal, and it's like the first time he's ever had a second date. And then the bad guys target him, and she protects him, but then you find out she's only protecting him to use him, and they accuse him of being the terrorist that killed off everyone on Earth. And the the first series is going through all of the adventures with that. So in this series, it starts. There was an over terrorist, and then the weatherman was like the point man, and he has had his mind wiped, and they overlaid it with this foppish
the weatherman
persona.
So underneath, like, his real persona, his real life is like he is a terrorist, and he's committed this horrible act.
Yes,
but he doesn't know it because they have erased him and put in this brand new personality, which is kind of like over the top.
But they backed up his old personality on a hard drive, and so the government wants to find this hard drive, reintroduce his personality and his memories, so he can tell them where the main terrorist is, because they feel like he's going to strike again and do another mass terrorist strike. So there's a government agent. Is her name Sam? Is that?
See, this is all I only read. This is the first book I've ever read. I did not go back and read the first series. So
yeah.
This is the second volume where they've already had all this stuff that he talked about happen. So now the second volume's come in, which, like,
you really need to read the first volume.
No joke. Like, that was the problem I had with it, is because I've only read this only book. The only reason I know about any of this other stuff is because I kind of pieced it together from here and from other stuff that I've read.
So the first volume, there's like a crime lord and he hires mercenaries to capture this guy. And he wanted to torture and kill this guy on live TV, basically. And the government wants to keep him alive
to get to the other guy.
The agent that's assigned to him, she hates him, but she has to protect him with her life. And she's like a badass. They say that she's not that tough, but she comes out on top of every fight she's in. So, I think her name is Sam, but so they're gonna go. They've gotten a message that this hard drive with his personality is on Earth, so they go down. They go back to Earth, which has been quarantined, and then it shows a scene on Earth where the few people that are left have a conclave, and they have to kill people every so often because they don't have enough resources, and it's kind of a lottery, and the leader's son comes up in the lottery, and she says, if I let him off, it degrades the whole system. And so, yeah, she.
So then one guy takes his place.
Yeah, his father says, "Well, I'll take his place." So the government agent and the assassins that were sent to kill the weatherman have teamed up, because she's convinced them that if they don't find the Uber terrorist, that Mars is next. So and there's something with the weatherman where he's always eating. It's like guilt hunger or something. He's that's kind of a trope in the thing. So they land on Earth and find this gigantic pile of skeletons higher than skyscrapers, and the weatherman's all freaked out by that, and then you see that some of the dead are coming back to life, and so that's the that's the end of the book, so it's going to be more weirdness to come. So this book and the Bad Luck Chuck, they feel it. It's a completely different story, but they feel kind of similar. And this is one where I feel like they did it right. It's art's not great. You can't tell people a lot of the things that I said about the other book that were bad. This book finds a way to get around those. They explain it enough, and they make the jumps enough, and so I enjoyed this one. The other one is How to Do It Wrong. This one's kind of How to Do It Right. Or maybe I'm just twisted, but
no, and I disagree only because this is what I came into. I have only read this one volume, so for me,
you really need to read the first.
Yes.
I'm so glad that I didn't just say, well, it's a new volume, so I can just read this first one.
That's what I figured. I was
I thought, well, they'll catch you up. They don't catch you up.
They don't catch you up. They start right where and they expect you to know, and I did not. So for me, I didn't like it as much because I had no investment in it. I had no backstory. I kind of got from the brief synopsis that I read before I ordered it. I didn't enjoy it that much. I'm with you though. I think the art was decent enough to where it worked, and some of the plot points I liked that I thought were, but the one thing that I always talk about marking a good book is that it doesn't make me go back and want to read the other stuff. Reading just this, it does not make me want to go back at all and read the other ones. I just meh, it's okay. I just accept the fact that I haven't read the other ones, and I'm just I'm not gonna continue on. But
from someone who has read the other ones, that they are worth going back and reading. I feel personally, so you may not like them, but
no, that's one thing I like. It's the reason why I like when we disagree.
So I give this one 3.5 unicorn horns, and
I would give it probably closer to 2, just because. And like I said,
do not just pick this one up. Because it's
jump in.
It's a number 1.
You need more.
You will be confused.
All right, so I'm gonna do. I had another week with a lot of number 1s. I'm gonna do Marilyn Manor. It's an IDW. It is written by Magdalena Visaggio, and art was Marley Zarcone. So this book plays. It's like the daughter of the president, and she is in the White House, and she's throwing a party. The president's gone. She's not supposed to throw this party, so what does she do? She throws this party. She dresses in. And it's set in the 80s, so she has this really wild outfit. She dyes her hair red. She has this little punk feel to her, and she's she's throwing this party, and she's having her friend film it, so that she has everything. And her friend, I think they call her Abraham. I can't remember if they call her Abraham or Lincoln, but they say that she introduces her as being possessed by the spirit of Abraham Lincoln. So I don't know what that's about. And then she talks about there's this band that she really likes where the lead singer is this kind of emo, femme-looking rocker guy that she's in love with. And I think the friend's in love with her because she gets upset because the friend's in love, or because Marilyn is in love with the other girl. Also, she is the daughter of Marilyn Monroe, and she is the daughter of Marilyn Monroe with her stepfather, or with her father was cheated on her mother. But in order to make them because when you're the president, you have to be, you just keep going and make yourself look like a good family. So she knows she's not the real daughter. Her mom is not her real daughter or her real mother, and she always tries to do everything to defy them. They're in a press conference, so she's giving them the finger. So that was a big thing, and she's always trying to do something crazy. The parents leave for the week and tell her that she can't do anything, so she she finds this secret passageway because Lincoln tells her that Abraham Lincoln used to know about this passageway because it was like to evacuate the president, and so she uses this to smuggle everybody in to have a party. And there's one secret agent that's in charge of her, and she smuggles all these people in under his nose and like is throwing this party. He's like, "How did you do this? How is this even possible?" So the book is about her kind of like figuring out this passageway. They find this secret sex dungeon, which was Marilyn and JFK's sex dungeon, and she talks about how Madonna's a big thing, and that's why she kind of was emulating, Marilyn and Madonna, and the secret agent is trying to figure out why, how she got all this stuff in, and that's the end of it. So, I mean, I don't know.
What was it called again?
Marilyn Manor. I don't know I don't know if they're going for like a sci-fi esque 80s something. I have no idea. I don't know. I just have no idea what the premise of this book is. Like I said, it's just a weird thing, and she keeps breaking the fourth wall where she talks to the reader a lot, and it's almost like you're kind of like it's like she's an MTV VJ where she's walking around and she's like, "We're in the White House, here's my friend Abraham. She's possessed by Abraham Lincoln. Here's my emo friend, or here's my emo rocker boyfriend that I really love that he doesn't know I exist, and da 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 da. But he's my favorite band." And it's just like, it's really random, really kind of just I'm not for like I said, like I have no idea what the premise of the book is. Like I don't know what they're gonna do. Like are they just gonna continue this party on? Like is it this kind of cutesy, kind of, I think like a Patsy Walker, Hellcat kind of, like teen book where it's like, like, oh, I'm the daughter of the president.
I'm the illegitimate daughter of the president,
Marilyn Monroe, and I'm gonna cause chaos, and let me dress in these cute rocker clothes from the 80s, and
it's Marilyn.
Yeah, exactly. It's like and all she's missing is like a cutesy like fur animal that's like some kind of
robot sidekick.
Yeah. I'm not gonna read number 2. I felt really like cheated after reading this one. I was like, it just went nowhere. So, but the art was really neat. I really liked the art. There was kind of like they had some really neat like really graphic things on there. Like her costuming was really interesting. The choices they made with her like giving the finger to the camera when she's having the press conference. There was cute things in it and kind of interesting. Like, but nothing stuck, nothing went anywhere. I have no feel for this at all. So, IDW has let me down again. Wah, wah, wah. So, I would give this probably a 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. I would probably go 2 out of 5 just because of the art. I liked the art. It was very pop art-ish, 80s feel. So, which I'm all about nostalgia. But overall, I don't get it. Sadly.
Well, the last book I read this week is the Star Wars Age of Rebellion line. They've done a bunch of one-offs, each one character. This week's was Darth Vader. It's by Greg Pak, who I really enjoy his stuff. Art's by Ramon Box. And then a host of others.
A host of others.
A plethora.
Would you say a plethora?
So, it's a one-off tale of Darth Vader early in his Darthness.
In his reign.
He's working under this general, and he's focused on the mission, on the specific mission, and the general's kind of focused on the big picture,
winning the war,
and like the rebels are sitting on top of some fuel dump, and the Empire wants the fuel. Well, the general's like, well, we need this fuel don't fire on the rebels or you'll explode the fuel. And Vader's like, my job's to kill the rebels.
I don't care about you.
And I don't care about the fuel. And he blows up all the fuel. And the general gets pissed at him. And he's like, but I accomplished my mission. The rebels didn't get away. And the general's like, the mission was to bring fuel back. So they, since they're having a squabble, they call Daddy, the Emperor.
Daddy, Darth killed everybody.
And Darth's like, he won't let me kill everybody. He's touching my stuff. So,
don't touch my lightsaber. It's mine. Can't have it. You're not touching me.
So, when they call the Emperor up, and explain all this to him, and the Emperor's like, well, you're my apprentice. Nobody outranks you when I'm not around, but I outrank you, and I'm ordering you to follow this general's orders to the letter. So he's like teaching Vader how to be humble. So so the general starts to get caught. You have to do everything I say, and so Vader does exactly to the letter everything this general says. And the general, he's a little afraid of Vader, but he also wants to rub his nose in it that he's in charge now. So he keeps sending him on, there's a suicide run. They're going to send troops in, and the general pulls his troops back, and he's like, just leave Vader out there to do it. And instead of dying, Vader succeeds. So he keeps trying to get Vader killed, and Vader keeps not getting killed, and
why would you die?
Yeah, and so at the end, he sends Vader to kill the space monster, and he says Vader flies off and leaves the space monster, and he's like, I ordered you to kill the monster. He says, no, you ordered me to get rid of the greatest threat to the ship. I guess Vader determined that this general was the greatest threat to the ship, and so the space monster kills the general, and the Emperor's like, you learned the lesson. So
you found the loophole.
Yep. So it was a fun little one-off story. It wasn't the best Darth Vader story I've read.
No, we've read a couple of good ones.
But
or you have.
It was fun. I'll give it 2.5 horns. So the Age of Rebellion one-offs. They've had some decent stories in there. So.
It's not as good as that other Vader series.
No.
Alright, so I'm going to do a super random one. It is the most random book I have ever read in, I don't know, many years, because I've read some crazy things. I'm not for sure the age of this person, or if this is supposed to be the style that he's going for, or what the feel is. It is called Super Fight Volume 1. And it is by Claudio Gerardo. He does the writing, the art, and publishes it itself. Which is pretty much how it feels. So the art in itself is just super, super...
8-year-old.
Like 8-year-old with the crown, box of crowns, childish. And the interior art does not change. It's just in black and white instead of color. Oddly enough, I don't know why... I cannot put my finger on it, but I kept plugging away. It is exactly what it says. It is a super fight where they start with one person and that person gets attacked by a superhero. Then that superhero gets attacked by a supervillain. Then that supervillain gets attacked by a superhero. And they just introduce like all these characters, and there is no overlying arc. There is no extra like symbolism. It is literally like one hero fighting a villain, fighting a hero, fighting a villain, fighting a hero through the entire book. So it is like the evil clown stops the mime from stealing all the stuff. Well, then the little big man stops the clown from stealing the money, and then the scream queen stops the little big man. Well, then the stretchy lady stops them, and then when the stretchy lady gets hit by the beam man, and then the beam man like gets hit by the fast girl, and it's just like it is this way the whole way through until towards the end. Towards the end, they kind of get these Thor-esque characters where one's like a hammer hand and his brother is the Mallet Man is the bad guy, and then his brother is Arm and Hammer. And he literally has an arm and a hammer. Nothing super intricate. And so, but he ends up being their brother. Well, at the end, they fight, and their dad shows up, who is, what is his name? The Big Hammer Man. Literally a big hammer. Again, no, like, I mean, it is super, I mean, like, it's super legit nothing. And so he comes down and he gets mad at the kids for fighting. So he kind of puts a stop to this.
And he's bald.
And he's bald with his ponytail. He's got a ponytail. And he's like, why is everybody fighting anyways? And they're like, oh, we had to stop this petty crime. The mine was stealing money from these people. And he's like, you started all this damage. You started all this stuff over this. He goes, don't you think? And they're like, well, we ain't got nothing else to do. And that's literally the words. It's like, well, we ain't got nothing else to do. So then they just go back to fighting again. And it's just like, it's this big knockdown, drag out. Oh, no, sorry. It's not from the hammer guy. The Fat Rat Man shows up. So the Fat Rat Man is literally a fat man in a rat suit. And he fights and beats all the villains up. And he's like, why is everybody causing all this damage? Well, they end up telling him, he's like, really? Like, this is what we're coming down to? And so he's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's what we gotta do. And then he's like, oh no, the Scribbler's getting away with the money. And so then they all go after the Scribbler. and like, that's the end of the book. The most random book I've ever read. Still, probably one of the most entertaining things I've read in a long time. It was just funny. Like, I just kept going, and it was just like, it was really neat. The little, like, the names of the people were just funny, and the art was just super crappy, but for some reason it worked for it. I'm hope to Jesus this is like some 10-year-old in their dad's garage, and they literally have like their dad put this out for them or something. Because if it is, then I'm gonna follow this child forever. Because like seriously, there was just no story whatsoever. I mean, it was just complete trash. But I loved Yeah, exactly. I loved every train wreck minute of it. It was just something that was really entertaining and just stupid and it's fun and just, it's childish and like even with the crappy art, I still knew who all the characters were. Like when they had the big team battle, I could tell all the people from the other people, and like they had enough defining characteristics. And with it being black and white, and like really, honestly, it's just this stylized, like childish artwork. And so, I don't know. I just. Like I said, it is literal crap. Like, I have no idea how anybody got this published in the first place. But it was fun. Like, it was probably the best $2 I've ever spent. In a long time. I enjoyed every bit of it. I probably not going to give it 5 unicorn horns, but I definitely would give it at least a 3 unicorn horn. And I'm sure nobody will agree with me on that one after reading it. But I don't care. I thought it was fun and interesting. And like I said, like I've read so much crap and like it's just fun when crap makes fun of itself and knows it's crap and just does a stupid story. And so I'm in. I'll do it. I'll click through. So I don't know. 3 out of 5 unicorn horns. Really fun. Did you get to read anything else?
No, I went to a Comic-Con in Dallas yesterday, so that took my whole day, and so.
But you got a bunch of signatures and stuff like that, and you met a couple people, and which huge shout out,
Bagley, Fabian Nicieza, Valme Eric, who did Howard the Duck. Jim Shooter was there. He wrote the Marvel superhero Secret Wars, and he ran Marvel
for a long time
during what some people consider the good times. And then was run off, and then people are like, "Miss me yet?" And Peter David was there, my favorite Hulk writer ever.
Zorro guy.
Huh?
The Zorro and Lady Rawhide guy.
Yeah. Yep.
Him, that guy.
Yeah, him.
So really quickly,
and a host of others.
Really quickly, tell your Mark Bagley story, because I really want to give a shout out to Mark Bagley for being awesome.
So Mark was alternating between doing sketches and signatures. So it was at the end of one of the sketch periods, and he was coming up on, it was time for him to start signing books, and he a line had formed, and he was toward the front of the room, and so there was a couple in the corner, kind of where the line ended, and they had 2 kids with them in a stroller, and one of the kids was kind of crying. So right before he was going to start signing, he gets up and goes over to these people and says, I heard the crying baby. If you're in line for me, he says, why don't you come to the front of the line so you don't have to wait with the fussy kid. You can get your stuff signed and then
get him taken care of.
Get the kid taken care of. Turns out that they were just in the corner because that was a good place to wrangle the kids together. But I just thought that was a really cool gesture from him. And then there was right after that, there was a group, I'm sure from some comic store, that was getting like an entire short box of comics signed. And they were, the way he did his signatures was if you got them personalized, they were free, and if they weren't personalized, then they were $10 a piece. Well, if you're doing them for a store, you're not going to have them personalized. So, I mean, they laid down a big old stack of cash, and he said, this is going to take a while. He says, I'd like to be fair to the other people in line. He says, so while you guys get these all done out so I can quickly sign them all, I'm going to go through the line, and everybody that's only got 2 or 3 books, we'll go ahead and get them taken care of and knocked out first. So I just thought that was. I've now been in a lot of comic lines, and I just thought that was really cool.
Yeah,
and stuff he didn't have to do
above and beyond,
but it made an impression with me.
Yeah.
I thought it was very.
So we as comic book fans, we definitely greatly appreciate you, Mark. We appreciate the fact that you are trying to do everything you can to make it as pleasant of an experience for us as well as yourself.
Plus, he was super personable, and all the guests there were very nice. I'm not saying that there was. In other cons I've had bad experiences.
We could do a whole nother show on that.
Yeah,
one.
Mostly it was not the guest's fault. It was like the handlers, the wranglers part.
Yeah.
But this one was lots of good positive interactions and
So, with that story, thank you, Mark. We appreciate it. Like I said, with us comic fans, we always greatly appreciate you looking out for us. Thank you so much. We
maybe he'll even see this.
Yeah, we would love. Yeah, if
We'll
anybody knows Mark, or
we'll
I'll
tag
him
or
in it.
something.
See if he goes. So I'm gonna go through my pull list really quick, and then we'll be done. Punk Mambo number 3. This book is okay. Nothing really crazy. I like, again, it's one of those ones where it doesn't reinvent the wheel. It's kind of a magic book. She's kind of like, she's pretty much a punk, and she's this like, this mystic voodoo thing. I wish the story would go a little bit faster, or there's something just kind of off about it that's not quite clicking with me, but it still brings me enough to come back. I still want to see what's going to happen, but I'm ready for things to actually start happening. This is number 3, and it's kind of getting into it's still, they keep talking about the same thing over and over again, and it's like, okay, we get it, now go. And so it was okay. Steel Cage number 1. It was like an anthology, 3 different little stories. There were some were a little quirky and weird, and it was okay. I'd say probably like a 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. Nothing. The reason why I would give that is more because it just wasn't memorable. It was just okay. Like I just read through it and I was like, okay, move on. Anthology books are kind of hard for me sometimes, anyways, because I really don't feel like there's an underlying arc or premise for stuff like that. Grim Fairy Tales number 29, volume 2, number 29. So this is a continuation. She's trying to find out. She's got her shield. She's trying to find out some. The language on the back is from somewhere in Oz, so she goes to Oz and they send her to this place. But the wizard is impersonating Dorothy, and he makes her look like the witch. He puts an illusion on her as he sends her off to make her look like the witch, and so that way they'll kill her, or hopefully somebody will try to kill her. So she kind of defends herself against these munchkins, and then realizes that she looks like the Wicked Witch of the West. I said it before, and I will continue to say it. Cinescope just has good books. I mean, they are not great. They are not. Oh my god, but they're just good. Good characters, decent art, decent story, entertaining premises. So yeah, I really like Zenoscope's books. I'll probably continue to read them until I die, because I'm a huge loyalist. That's one thing Jenny used to get on to me about and make fun of me for all the time, was the fact that I would stick with the book till I ate it so much. The Fallen. Very anime-esque, about gods that were were expelled to the earth, and they kind of create these armies and people, and it was okay. 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. I don't think I'll pick up the next one. Crossover. I don't even know. That one's like, I don't understand. Like, I guess it was 2 characters that cross over. It's this one character. She's kind of in hell. And this other character comes from the real world into this hell world, and they kind of fight these I don't know. 1 out of 5 unicorn horns, probably. I'm sure there's something to go with it that I probably didn't read, that I didn't understand. So that rating is more just because I don't know what's going on. But I mean, the art was okay, and if I would have understood the story, I think it would have been okay. But I didn't understand the story. Black Space Vanguard number 1. It was okay. Again, another 2 out of 5 unicorn horns. Space book. They go to the planet. They encounter a beast. The monster tries to eat them, but then the indigenous people try to help them, and that's it. Like, I don't know. Like, it was nothing very memorable. Nothing really interesting. Super interesting. Battle Cats number 2. I picked up the first one. Again, this is a second volume, so there's so much more backstory that I have no idea what's going on. So this did not help. Number 2 did not make number 1 any clearer, and number 1 did not make number 2 any clearer, because they keep referencing things that are back in the old series. So I don't think I'm gonna pick up number 3, because obviously I'm too far behind. I don't have the capacity to read. Maybe at some point I might, but it was okay. Like, there's something about tattoos and this lion god, and they are trying, but the guy that's supposed to be dead is back, and he steals this girl that has a tattoo, and he's going to combine his tattoo and her tattoo, which is like total sexual harassment. That's going to be a lot of sexual harassment, Panda. So I don't really know. Like, I mean, it's okay. 2 out of 5. Soulfire, I'd say 1 out of 5. I don't. This one again, I didn't read in the old ones. I have no idea what half these characters are. I have no idea what the premises of the book is. There's this guy that's part dragon. He owns dragons, and he takes over this place. And so these random people get together and go try to stop him. But then there's a lady that's trying to fight for magic. So I guess she used to be their friend, and it's hilarity ensues. Carson of Venus, which is the Princess of Venus #1. This was apparently like a what's the
William Rice Burroughs.
Yeah, but what was the character? Jason.
John Carter.
John Carter. Yeah. So I think this is kind of what this is like the Deja Thoris kind of thing character.
All the various planets were populated and other
things.
It wasn't just Mars.
Okay. Well, there you go. So Carson of Venus and Princess of Venus, like, I could take it or leave it. It wasn't that entertaining. It was okay. 1 out of 5 unicorn horns for me. I can see where this would be somebody's thing, or if they're like into this world, it would probably be more impactful to them. For me, it was not there. Stranger Things #2. This is the story of 6. So in a couple of the other, I think there's 3 in there, and there's 7. No, 7. 11. No, 11's the bald girl. There's these twins that's in there, but so it has a couple of the other characters that are in the same program that 11 was from. But it follows this one girl, 6, and she's clairvoyant. She can see into the future. It's okay. I feel like the show is way better. Show's way better written. This has it's just, I don't know. It is what it's okay. 3 out of 5 unicorn horns. I actually kind of liked it, but I wish there was more to it because I need to know what's going on with it. Like, why is there? It needs to move forward. Kanto #1. 1 out of 5 unicorn horns. It was like, it's these little creatures, and they have, instead of hearts, this person ripped out their hearts and put clocks in there so that they have a finite number or finite time that they live, but they're slaves. So if they get out of control, then they rip out their clocks. And they're not supposed to have names. They're not supposed to be in love. They're not supposed to have friendships. And this guy falls in love with this girl, and if they find out that this character Kanto's got a name, and so the girl goes, "I named him," because the people are like, "Who gave you a name?" And she's like, "I named him," and so they beat her, and so he goes off. He leaves to go find a heart for her to live because her clock's damaged beyond belief. Unfortunately, like, I just didn't get into it, and the art was really weird because all the characters look the same. So they would just like put like a little sash on them, or somebody would have like a little different helmet thing, or somebody would have something. It's like these small defining things, and so I couldn't tell who was who or what character was what. I couldn't even tell like the female from the male part sometimes. So I got really confused about who was having friendships with who and who. So all in all, it was not my bag. New Agents of Atlas. I sadly, like, I really liked this series, but this book was crap. Like, it was like, it wrapped everything really fast, and it was really jerky, and like the art wasn't the greatest, and I was really disappointed. But I really liked the team. Like, I really liked it starting off with. I really liked the characters, and this book just ended. It's like they didn't know how to end it. They're like, "Oh, we gotta end it, but I'm not for sure how. We're just gonna do this little fight thing, and then this person's gonna do this, and we'll do this, and oh yeah, this person's not really a person. It's an android that we used, and then we're gonna blow it up. But I was keeping secrets, and that's why I'm a secret agent." And I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I was not impressed. 2 out of 5 unicorn horns, unfortunately, but only because I really liked the characters. I want to see the characters. I want to get the new Atlas book, just because I like some of the characters. Glow. this book needs to move forward. I really like it, but it needs to move forward a little bit faster. It's, there's in the TV series, there's not the quite character interactions that they have in it that keep it going, that keep you interested in the slow moments. So this book is a little slow, because they try to have these character moments, and it doesn't quite work in book form. So I really want it to move forward, but I like it because I like the characters are fun. The art's really kind of like childlike and quirky. And I want to see them fight. Like, I think it's kind of cute, the wrestling matches and the stuff. Like, the Glow characters are just funny. Like, in real life, on the old series, on the TV series that they have now, and in the book, like, they're all just kind of these whimsical characters that I just really like, and they're fun. And so I really want to... I just wish they would move the story forward. Eve Stranger, and this is where she she has to complete this task, and then she gets this injection so that she doesn't die. But the injection saves her life, but it doesn't. It wipes her memory, so she's got to start fresh off every time. And she's being pimped out by this company to do all these different tasks. But it's not like sexual, because like there's one part in there where the guy goes, so since we can, since we're hiring her, we can do anything, right? And the lady's like, she's like, get rid of him, and they blow his head up. She's like, the pill you took that you agreed to have her Eve's services, it's part of the waiver, it's part of the thing, you know what this thing is. So she's like, so if you get out of line, you're blown up. And so like, there's one guy that he's a tiny person, so he wants to run with the bulls. So she straps him like in like a baby Bjorn, and they like run with the bulls. And so it's tasks like that they give her, or that they use her for. Mm-hmm. And so I think it was kind of fun and interesting. But I'd say 4 out of 5 unicorn horns, and the art's really good. I really like the art. It's very Gorillaz, the old band Gorillaz. It's very, very reminiscent of that. It's got like these like little square, dark, thick lines. So I think it's fun. I like it. The Shades of Magic, the Steel Prince. This one, I don't know. Like, I kind of like, I kind of don't. I've got mixed feelings about it. Like, it's interesting premise, but I'm not sure where they're gonna go with it. But it's about this prince. He's trying to lead this army. The army doesn't respect him, so he's going to take this particular task on that is usually reserved for the higher up military people. And so he's gonna, the diehard military people. But there's 4 doors, and each door is a little bit more psychologically and physically intense. And so most people don't make it past the second door, or it's about them trying. It's not exactly about them succeeding. But the prince is like trying to do it to gain the respect for his army and stuff like that. In the meanwhile, we're on his way to the magical test, that he gets attacked by this particular guy, but his guards save him. It's interesting, like the premise of the magic and the stuff like that in there, but I'm not it's just a weird story. I'm just not for sure where they're gonna go with it. So I don't know why I keep reading it, but for some reason something keeps drawing me back. But 3 out of 5 unicorn horns. I don't know why. I don't know. It just is. I like it. So that was a lot of books. What was that? 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 books that I read. It's a lot of reading this week. A lot of number ones. A lot of crap. But I got through it for you. And for you. But not for me. That was horrible.
But not you over there in the corner.
Yeah.
I know
you know who you are. We see you. So, thanks for joining us. And like we always say, please, we would love to have more subscribers. So like, share, and subscribe if you can. Bell notifications so you can be notified when we post videos. I try to post them on Mondays. My life gets kind of busy because I thin myself out as much as possible, so it doesn't always happen. But I try to get them out on Mondays. Anything? Mark Bagley, again, thank you for being an awesome person. We appreciate it. And until next week, we hope your pull list is full. Bye.